There were so many things we almost said, they just never made it out. I had words sitting on my tongue, but they never found the air. You looked like you wanted to speak too, but we both just stayed there, caught between hesitation and fear of what it means. So we let the moment pass us like it wasn't everything. We waited for the perfect time that never came around, and silence built a wall between what was lost and what we found. All the conversations that never happened are louder in my head than the ones we had then. Every word it echoes through the empty space. Conversations that never happened still haunt this place. Still haunt this place. I wonder if you felt it too, the weight behind your eyes, like something real was breaking. Without a single goodbye, we stayed polite, stayed careful like strangers passing through. But love doesn't need permission to disappear from view. Now I replay the silence like it said something more. Maybe we were both just scared of what we were fighting for. All the conversations we never let begin are the ones that keep me trapped inside this what if. No closure, no ending, just words we couldn't choose. Conversations that never happened are the ones I can't lose. Are the ones I can't lose. If we all said it all, would it have changed anything? Or just given a voice to the ending we avoided? It didn't happen all at once. You didn't walk away. You just started leaving before you ever left. I noticed in the way you listened, like you were already somewhere else. Your answers came a little slower, like you were choosing something else. We still had all the same routines, but something underneath had changed. And I kept trying not to see it, even when it felt so clear. You were still holding my hand, but not the way you used to. And I felt it in the silence before I ever knew the truth. I felt you leaving early before you said goodbye, and the space between your words and the distance in your eyes. You didn't have to tell me, I could feel it every day. I felt you leaving early, long before you walked away. You smiled like everything was fine, but it didn't reach your face. And I started missing pieces I could never quite replace. We stopped talking about the future like it wasn't ours to keep. And every quiet conversation cut a little bit too deep. I tried to hold it all together like it wasn't slipping through. But love doesn't need a moment to prove when it's untrue. I felt you leaving early, and every subtle change in the way you stopped reaching, like I wasn't yours to claim. No sudden ending, no clear line, just something fading slowly. I felt you was knowing before you even knew it yourself. You didn't say it, but I heard it anyway. There was something in your voice that didn't feel like home, like every word you gave me was standing there alone. You said everything was fine, but it didn't land the same, like you were speaking out of habit, not calling out my name. I tried to ignore the feeling, like it would go away, but truth doesn't need permission to echo in what you say. I heard it in your voice before you let me go, in the space between your words and the way it lost its tone. You didn't have to say it, I already knew the choice. Love was fading quietly, I heard it in your voice. You stopped holding on to moments like they mattered anymore. Every I miss you sounded distant, like something said before. I listened a little closer, hoping I was wrong, but even silence has a language when it's been there too long. You were still right beside me, but harder to believe how someone can stay speaking while already trying to leave. I heard it in your voice before the ending came, before we stopped pretending, before nothing felt the same. No goodbye to hold on to, no moment to rejoice. It was already over, I heard it in your voice. Maybe that's what stayed with me, not what you said, but how it sounded when you did. I saw it, I just didn't say anything. I noticed when you stopped trying, but I told myself it's fine. Like love doesn't change its rhythm, like distance isn't a sign. You look through me more often than you ever looked at me, but I kept acting like I didn't see what was so clear to see. I thought if I stayed quiet, it wouldn't fall apart, like silence could somehow protect what was already breaking in your heart. I pretended not to notice every little shift in you, every time you pulled away, like you had something else to choose. I let it happen slowly, like I didn't need the truth. I pretended not to notice while I was losing you. You stopped saying I miss you, but I filled it in myself, like I could rewrite the silence into something that still felt. I memorized your absence while you were still around, and turned away from every sign that love was breaking down. I knew before I admitted we were going through, but truth feels heavier when you don't want it to be true. I pretended not to notice until there was nothing left. No version of us to hold on to, no feelings to protect. I watched it fade in silence, like there was nothing I could do. I pretended not to notice, and that's what made it true. Maybe I didn't lose you all at once. I just looked away at the wrong time. I don't know what I was waiting for. Maybe a sign, maybe you. I stayed a little longer than I should've, in moments that felt incomplete. You said everything was fine, but it never sounded like you meant it to me. I kept searching in your silence, like it might finally speak, but all I ever found was distance staring back at me. I thought maybe time would fix it, or bring us back somehow. But the longer that I waited, the less of you I found. I waited for something that never came, a feeling, a moment, a spark, a change. I held on to nothing, like it might turn true. I waited for something, but it wasn't you. We kept going through the motions like we didn't feel the drift. You were there but never present, like something I couldn't fix. I memorized your absence in the way you used to stay, and every quiet second felt like you slipping away. I told myself to be patient, like love just needed time. But some things don't come back, no matter how long you try. I waited for something that never arrived. No words, no turning point, no reason why. Just hope slowly faded into something untrue. I waited for something, and it ended with you. Maybe I wasn't waiting for something to begin. I was just not ready for it to end. It didn't break, it just repeated until it stopped feeling like love. We woke up, said the same good mornings, like lines we memorized. Your voice didn't change, but something in it died. We moved through days on autopilot, no questions, no surprise, just habits dressed like right in front of our eyes. No tension, no spark, just quiet in disguise. We weren't falling apart, we were just standardized. Love turned into routine, somewhere in between what we used to feel and what we couldn't keep. No fire, no fight, just days on repeat. Love turned into routine and slowly left me. We still sat close together, but never really touched. Like closeness lost its meaning without asking for much. We stopped learning each other like there was nothing new. But love needs more than presence to keep feeling true. I tried to shake the pattern, but it pulled us back again. We got too used to comfort to notice where it ends. Love turned into routine, quietly unseen. No moment marked the change, no clear in between. Just something once alive, losing what it used to be. Love turned into routine and forgot about me. Same until love couldn't. There wasn't an ending, nothing we could point to, just space, growing where we used to be. We didn't lose it all at once, it slipped between the days, in shorter conversations, in subtle, quiet ways. You still said all the right things, but they didn't feel the same. Like we were holding on to words that couldn't hold the weight. No moment marked the change, no line we ever crossed, just something slowly drifting into something lost. There was no ending, just distance in between. No final goodbye, no clear what it means. We didn't fall apart, we just stopped being us. No ending, just distance, slowly breaking trust. We kept showing up the same, but less of us was there. Like love turned into presence without the care. I tried to find the moment where everything went wrong, but some things don't shatter, they just don't stay strong. I felt it in the quiet before I let it be true. Some endings don't arrive, they just fade out of view. Both lived in it. Maybe that's why it lingers, because nothing ever ended, it just stopped. We used to talk for hours, now even silence feels like too much. We sit across from each other like we're out of things to be. No tension left to argue, no reason left to leave. Your eyes don't ask me questions, mine don't search for truth. We've already said everything without saying it to you. No words left to soften it, no way to make it stay. When silence says it clearer than anything we say, there's nothing left to say, nothing left to fix. No, what if we tried again? No missing piece to pick. We didn't lose it loudly, it just slipped away. Now there's nothing left to say. We try to keep it normal, like it wasn't ending here. But even small talk feels heavy when love disappears. We stop finishing sentences like we used to do. Now every word feels separate, like me and you. I think we both feel it, but don't know how to start. How do you say goodbye when it's already apart? There's nothing left to say, no truth left to reveal, no way to bring it back, no way to make it real, no ending we can point to, no moment to replay, just nothing left between us, nothing left to say. Maybe silence isn't empty, maybe it's just all that's left. If I had known that was the last time it felt normal, I think I would have stayed a little longer in it. We laughed like nothing was changing, like time wasn't slipping away. You leaned your head on my shoulder, like you always used to stay. No tension hiding between us, no silence heavy in the air. Just a moment so ordinary, we didn't know to care. Nothing felt like an ending, nothing hinted goodbye. Just a night like any other, passing quietly by. That was the last normal night, before everything shifted, before the space in your voice started feeling different. No warning signs, no change in tone, nothing I could see. Just the last normal night, before you stopped choosing me. We talked about tomorrow like it was still ours to hold, made plans we never kept, without knowing they'd grow cold. You smiled like you meant it, and maybe you still did, but something underneath it was already starting to slip. I replay it in my mind, searching for a sign, but everything felt so real, right up until the line. That was the last normal night, before love went quiet, before every little thing started turning silent. No moment marked the change, no clear memory to fight. Just a night that felt like us, turning into the last normal night. I knew what I was about to lose while I was still living in. It wasn't loud, no sudden break, just a moment that changed everything. It happened in a simple second, nothing anyone could see. You were talking like you always did, but something shifted in me. Your eyes didn't hold on to mine the way they used to stay, and I felt it in the quiet, something slipping away. No words to mark the ending, no reason I can name, just a feeling settling in, that nothing was the same. That was the moment I knew, before you said goodbye, before the distance showed, before the tears could rise. No warning, no clear sign, just truth I couldn't undo. That was the moment I knew I was losing you. We kept moving like nothing changed, like we were still okay. But I started seeing everything in a different way. Every word felt lighter, like it didn't carry through, and I was holding on to us while you were letting go of you. I tried to unfeel the moment like it wasn't real, but some things don't need proof to show you how they feel. That was the moment I knew we were already gone, before the silence grew, before it felt this wrong. No final scene to remember, no line we ever drew, just one quiet moment that told me the truth. It didn't end right there, but after that moment, nothing ever felt the same. There was no moment, no line we crossed, just something ending without asking us. We spoke like nothing changed, but left too much unsaid. Your voice felt like a memory, echoing instead. We still moved around each other like we used to do, but something in the silence felt more honest than the truth. No tears, no final scene, no words to hold on to, just space growing quietly between me and you. It was a quiet goodbye, we never gave a name, no breaking point to blame, no fire, no flame, just love turning softer until it slipped out of view. It was a quiet goodbye between me and you. I noticed in the little things you stopped reaching first, and I learned not to ask so it wouldn't hurt. We let the days pass gently, like nothing was wrong, but endings don't need chaos to prove they belong. We stayed a little say goodbye. No one else could see. No sudden loss to grieve, just what used to be. No last words spoken, no closure to hold on to. Just a quiet goodbye that slowly came true. Maybe that's how some love ends. Maybe that's how some love ends. Maybe that's how some love ends. Not with a goodbye, but with nothing left to say. It wasn't loud, not the ending, just space, growing where we used to be. You stopped reaching for my hand like it didn't belong there anymore. We still said all the same words, just without the meaning before. I noticed in the little things, the pauses getting hard to hide. How every "I'm okay" you said felt like you stepping outside. I tried to fill the empty space, but it kept widening. You were right in front of me, still slowly disappearing. It's the silence between us that says the most. Every word we don't say cuts the closest. We don't fight, we don't break, we just drift apart. It's the silence between us, tearing through my heart. We used to talk until the morning, now we barely last a night. Conversations feel like echoes of something that lost its light. I kept holding on to moments like they wouldn't slip away, but memories don't answer back no matter how much I stay. I hear everything you don't say, louder than before. And every quiet second feels like closing another door. It's the silence between us we never faced. All the love we once had just slowly erased. No last words, no truth we could hold on to. Just the silence between us, ending me and you. Maybe silence was always honest. We just didn't know how to listen. It didn't happen in a moment, no sudden change, just time taking us somewhere else. We used to know each other without needing to explain. Now every little detail feels slightly out of place. Your laughter sounds familiar, but I don't feel it land. Like I'm standing next to someone I don't fully understand. We didn't notice when it shifted, didn't see it coming through. How something once so certain turned into something new. We became strangers slowly, right in front of ourselves. No moment left to hold, no story left to tell. We didn't fall apart, we just changed became strangers slowly in a life that used to be mine. We stopped asking questions, like we didn't need to know who we were becoming, or where the feeling goes. You were still beside me, but harder to recognize, like love turned into distance without a clear goodbye. I tried to find the version of us I used to see, but time doesn't rewind what it quietly takes from me. We became strangers slowly, without a single fight. No ending to remember, no wrong or right, just something fading gently out of what we knew. We became strangers slowly, me and you. I think that's what hurts the most, not losing you, but forgetting who we were. There was no breaking point, no moment to point to, just something soft, slowly disappearing. We never raised our voices, never slammed a door, just started saying less than we ever did before. Your laughter turned to echoes I couldn't quite reach, and love became a language we forgot how to speak. No sharp edges, no clear end, just distance settling in, like we both already knew, but didn't know where to begin. We didn't fight, we faded into something undefined. No chaos, no explosion, just silence over time. We didn't lose each other all at once, all at once. We didn't fight, we faded until there was no us. We kept the peace so carefully, it pushed us further out, tiptoeing around the truth we were too scared to talk about. You were still right beside me, but harder to hold on to, like trying to keep a feeling that was already through. We chose the quiet every time instead of what was real, and slowly let it slip away without saying how we feel. We didn't fight, we faded, no moment left to blame, just time doing what it does till nothing stayed the same. No goodbye to remember, no last words to trust. We didn't fight, we faded, and that was enough for us. Maybe it's easier when nothing breaks, but sometimes silence takes more than it saves. We were inches apart, but it felt like miles, and neither of us moved. We slept back to back in silence, like strangers sharing space. Your breathing felt familiar, but I couldn't feel your place. No good night left between us, no fingers intertwined, just two hearts in the same bed, quietly misaligned. I almost turned to face you, just to see if you'd do the same, but something stopped me halfway. Like we both knew it changed. We slept back to back, like love was something past. No words, no reaching out, just trying to make it last. But distance doesn't need space to grow between two hearts. We slept back to back while falling apart. The room was full of quiet, louder than before. Every second felt like waiting for something we ignored. I traced the edge of the mattress, like it could lead to you, but comfort turned to absence, and everything we used to do. You shifted just slightly, but never turned around. And I stayed frozen in the moment where we couldn't be found. We slept back to back, no ending left to say, no goodbye between us, just drifting away. No fight to remember, no moment to restart. We slept back to back and broke without a part. I think we both felt it in the way we didn't move. That was the night we stopped choosing to. It's strange how nothing happened, and somehow everything ended. We used to fill the silence without trying. Now it stretches longer than the night. Your name still lives inside my phone, but it doesn't feel like mine to call. I replay the way it faded. Not a fight, not even a reason, just conversations getting shorter, like we were both running out of us. No goodbye, no closing door, just less and less until no more. We let the quiet do the work of everything we couldn't say. We stopped talking first before we stopped caring. Somewhere in between, we just stopped being there. No last words, no scene, no moment to hold on to. We stopped talking first, and that was the end of you. I kept checking for your name, like it might remember me, but time moved on without asking if I was ready to let it be. You were still somewhere out there, living like I never stayed, and I was here learning slowly how love can just fade. No blame left to hold on to, just space where we once grew. We didn't break, we just let go without admitting that we knew. We stopped talking first before we stopped feeling, before the truth had a voice, before the hurt had meaning. No dramatic goodbye, just distance we fell into. We stopped talking first, and it stopped me too. If I'm honest, I think we both noticed. We just waited for for the silence to say it first. You didn't break it, you just stopped holding it together. You still said my name the same, but something underneath was gone. Like you were speaking out of habit, not because you felt it strong. We didn't crash, we didn't burn, no ashes left to see, just something slowly dimming right in front of me. I kept trying to keep it alive, but you were already letting go. And love doesn't survive when only one of us still hopes. You let it die softly, no noise, no goodbye, just less of you each day, right in front of my eyes. No moment I could point to, no reason I could name. You let it die softly, and nothing felt the same. You stopped reaching for my hand, like it wasn't yours to take. And I started feeling lonely in every move we made. We still looked like something real to anyone outside, but love was disappearing in places we would hide. I think I knew before I said it, before I faced the truth. You don't lose love all at once, it slowly loses you. You let it die softly, without a single fight. No tears to remember, no wrong, no right, just something once alive, fading out of you. You let it die softly, and I stayed loving you. Maybe that's what hurt the most, not that it ended, but how quietly you let it. You were right there, close enough to touch, but somehow already gone. You sat right next to me in silence, like we didn't know what we became. Your shoulder almost touching mine, but it didn't feel the same. We used to laugh without thinking, now every word feels rehearsed. And I kept searching in your eyes for the version of you first. I felt the space between our hands, even when they almost met. How can something still be here and feel like something I've lost yet? You sat right next to me, but miles away inside. No fight, no breaking point, just distance we couldn't hide. I should have said something, but I didn't know what to be. When you sat right next to me and still weren't with me. We watched the same old movie, but you didn't look at me once. I memorized the quiet like it was speaking in months. You nodded at the right moments, like you were still involved, but I could feel it slipping every second we dissolved. I almost reached for your hand just to see if you would pull wasn't you leaving, it was realizing you already had. I think I realized it too late. You didn't leave all at once. You were already gone. You still said all the right things, but they didn't land the same. Like words without a meaning, just echoes of your name. We still moved like we were close, but something felt off inside. And I kept holding on to us while you slowly let it slide. I saw it in the way you stayed without really being there. How love can look the same but disappear somewhere. You were already gone. Before you said goodbye, I felt it in the silence, in the distance in your eyes. I kept trying to hold you, but there was nothing left to hold on to. You were already gone, and I just didn't want it true. We stopped talking about forever, like it wasn't ours to keep. And every quiet moment started cutting just too deep. You smiled like nothing changed, but I could see right through. There was no one left to fight for, even when I fought for you. I think part of me knew long before I let it show. Some endings don't arrive, they've already come and gone. You were already gone, long before the end, before the last conversation. We never tried to mend. No sudden goodbye, just something fading through. You were already gone, and I was losing you. It wasn't the moment you left. Wasn't the moment you left. It wasn't the moment you left that broke me. It was realizing I stayed after you were already gone. You were looking at me, but not really seeing me. Your eyes were somewhere else, even when they met mine. Like you were searching for a way out without crossing the line. We still spoke in the same tone, still played the same part, but I could feel the distance starting deep in your heart. I tried to follow your gaze, but it led me nowhere. You were right in front of me, just no longer there. Your eyes were somewhere else, I could feel it in the air, like I was standing next to you, but you weren't really there. No words to explain it, no truth you would confess. Your eyes were somewhere else, and but it never stayed long. Like your mind was rewriting where we both went wrong. I kept holding the moment like it might come back, but love doesn't return once it starts to crack. I saw it in the way you drifted, even when you stayed. How something so familiar could slowly start to fade. Your eyes were somewhere else before you walked away, before the silence grew, before you couldn't stay. No sudden goodbye, just a slow disconnect. Your eyes were somewhere else, and I became what you forget. I think I knew before I let it be. You stopped seeing us before you stopped seeing